controllers, coders or Watts block patrollers. No cops or bars could ever hold us. Just cop these bars of ours and join the chorus. I'm on the cusp of tourists, Jim and I hide the purists. Yes, I missed the music and the truth is it was glorious. Morphed into a minuscule, misleading tutorial that's torturous. Now I am just the tortoise, the crow that's my bro, none can blow.
DFCRadio.com.
Feeling so high. Roll up that hydro make me feel fine. Roll up that hydro make me feel fine. Cook up that hydro make me feel high. Feeling so high. Roll up that hydro make me feel fine. Roll up that hydro make me feel fine. Cook up that hydro make me feel high. Feeling so high. Chefs in the kitchen and they chopping up hydro. The hydro chefs in the building and they rolling up hydro. Hydro's in the kitchen and they cooking it up. Hydro, let's go. Hydro's in the studio. Chop it up. Up that hydro make me feel fine. Roll up that hydro.
Welcome. I am your culinary cannabis ambassador, the hydroponic chef, coming to you live from DFZ Radio Studio. This is Farm to Table Cannabis. We are the only show offering cannabis reviews, edible reviews, cooking advice, and gardening advice. So the phone lines are open, 562-653-0707. You can call in, get hooked up from some of our awesome sponsors over at General Hydroponics, Botanicare. We've also got Sunlight, all powered by Hawthorne. Jerome's back too. Welcome, Jerome, everybody out there in DFZ Radio listener land from a hiatus out there in the jungle looking for genetics. Say what up, Jerome.
I don't know about looking for genetics. Just looking for a little something called life. Gimme.
You come back every time you got some fire, buddy. Every time you always got some fire. So also, we got a good show for you today. We got Cannabis Catered Events in the building. Rudy, what's up?
How's it going? Nice to see you.
And then we've got Canna Chef Jen. And we got a round table of chefs today because we also have Mark from Cannabis Supper Club.
What up?
So we got all of your cannabis cooking needs. We're going to go over some cooking techniques. We're going to go over some gardening techniques with the gardening genius himself, Jerome. And Soundman Saint, how you doing, man? You know how I'm feeling today, dude. I'm feeling frisky. I'm ready.
Came in turns up, man. I'm liking
ready.
The energy. You know, it's going to be a good show. I can feel it.
Until I eat this edible from Cannabis Catered Events over here. And we're also going to be talking about an upcoming event that all of the chefs in this building will be cooking at, which is the Hitman Coffee Shop's Late Night Bites.
Hey, can't wait.
That's it. So we'll be talking about that. And as always, we also like to start off the show with a little bit of
a joint
of news and some dabs. And Jerome's rolling up over there. Let's keep you up on the current events and the state of cannabis in this industry. So this article is written by Dan Adams. It's from the Boston Globe. And it was a cornerstone of the pitch of legalization with marijuana in Massachusetts. And the mandate was laboratory testing would ensure that cannabis products sold in regulated stores are free of pesticides, molds, and other contaminants. Behind the scenes, however, a bitter scientific and business feud has split into two camps. The state's 4 marijuana testing labs, which currently serve medical dispensaries and will soon join the lucrative recreational market. Each camp says that the other's methods can't be trusted, and both companies, the cannabis companies, which under the state's medical marijuana regulations are required to contract with private labs for testing, routinely shop for favorable results. Have we ever heard that before out here in California?
Standardized testing like they did to the kids.
So the State Department of Public Health, which oversees medical marijuana, has declined to referee the dispute or update its testing regime, despite warnings from the labs that a lack of standards and the holes in protocols are undermining confidence in the system. And now the State Cannabis Control Commission is poised to adopt nearly wholesale the same rules for testing recreational cannabis too. The guy goes on to say, it's hard to walk into a dispensary right now and really trust that the products are safe, said Kamani Jefferson, president of the Massachusetts Recreational Consumer Council, which represents marijuana consumers. They can point to the label and say it's been tested, but until the state steps into the sets of standards, they really can't really say whether the standard is true or not. Setting rules and quality on marijuana is inherently challenging. While the plant has been the subject of some medical research, decades of prohibition means there are no established standards, or they have know how much, what kinds of contamination might be considered dangerous. Some states have looked to standardize for produce, but those are of limited value since marijuana is more frequently smoked and vaporized than eaten.
How many deaths have we had from marijuana?
I refute that.
How many overdoses?
In Massachusetts, the Department of Public Health set regulative tight limits for medical marijuana on microbial contamination from mold, yeast, and bacterial, amid concerns that patients with compromised immune systems could be susceptible to infections from tainted cannabis and products. The debate between the labs and the state stems from differences in how they test the cannabis for microbes. Two of the labs, Preferred Labs in Milford and MCR Labs in Farmingham, use a traditional planting technique in which samples of cannabis are placed in a petri dish containing a gel-like medium that encourages the growth of microbes. After an incubation period, technicians count how many visible spots or colonies of mold or other contaminants have grown in the gel and use a standard formula to calculate whether what the means of marijuana is acceptably contaminated according to the health department's limits. The two newer labs, CDX and EVIO labs in Southbridge, employ a faster DNA-based technique called qPCR. Using expensive mass spectrometers and chromatograph machines, these companies say that they can precisely measure microbial contaminants by detecting how many times microbe genetics and the codes they divide. Proponents say the DNA technique detects exactly what is the marijuana at the moment of testing, while the various gel media used in planting could stifle growth in certain microbes and boost others, distorting the relative presence of the different contaminants in the samples being tested. So with a DNA-based method, you get a real-time survey, and it represents what's actually being sold on the shelves, says CDX's chief scientist. With the culture-based method, you're saying that you only seeing and counting whatever happens to grow in the environment you've created on the gel plates. Worse, Cassidy added that false positives produced by plantings are encouraging marijuana growers to use fungicides and other chemicals to remedy the non-existent contaminants. So they go on to rebuke from the other side, and it's created a huge back and forth in the testing industry. So just like we say out here in California, I mean, standardized testing is a must. Right. You can't take things to one lab but get a positive test and take that same test to another one and get a false lab. We've got to figure out something that's going on. And it goes for the pesticide testing too, because the state of California will deem one thing safe one week and they'll come in and say it's not safe the next week.
Well,
so,
Devin, one thing you're forgetting is you're completely in charge of the tests that you submit.
Right.
So you got to understand too, there may not have been a pathogen directly in that environment. You got to look at the whole process, not only from the harvest point, but all the way to the drying, curing, processing, and weighing aspect as well. The containers it goes into, the way it's handled. Where was your hand last before you just touched that product? All
what other was
factors.
in that machine before they tested that machine after? Because are these machines being properly cleansed?
I don't believe it's so much the machines, because that's what the people are there to do, is to test products, so they should know how to professionally manage their equipment. I think really it comes down to that person that's submitting the test. I see it all the time. Tests come out different, but the thing is you're fully in charge of doing that. You got to understand, unless you're in the grow room, what I would end up doing is tag something that you know hasn't hit the ground maybe, or hasn't hit a table. So this way you have better chances at least. This way you know the one that's tagged is representing the best chances you have to pass those tests. You got to understand, somebody could go walk out on their break, 15-minute break, change shoes, doesn't matter. These are it takes
little to cross-contaminate cannabis now. Now the crazy thing about this, you guys, is and I say this all the time, Saint, you hear this back and forth, if they tried to regulate anything like they regulated cannabis, they would lose their fucking mind. People in the beef industry or the cheese industry or the freaking car industry or whatever would lose their mind and riot. But somehow cannabis is being scrutinized, and I think it's, some of it is just, but some of it is just ridiculous at this point.
No, they're trying to make it a rich man's fucking.
They're trying to flex us out.
The article's main point was
they're flexing us out,
and the article's main point is that it's scaring people into using harmful pesticides that don't show up on tests long term. So you can use something harder that's not going to, and that's a really dangerous
When was the last
route.
time you heard them fucking testing cigarettes? I'm just going to bring that up right now.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah.
Or alcohol, for that
You know
matter.
what I mean?
Wine.
So why are we being so gun-ho on this? Because they see the money value in it. People are fucking greedy.
And they want to
all the
isolate it to
politicians,
themselves.
all the way down the line to the people in the
Money
city,
grab.
to the people that need to keep their jobs. Everybody understands everybody needs a job. But at the end of the day, we need to look at this in a bigger picture. And if we're not seeing that, we're fooling ourselves.
We
dude.
got to come together.
Yeah, I mean, we like to talk about farm to table and bringing food and clean cannabis. But are you really inspecting where your food comes from? Are you really living that farm to table cannabis life?
Do you want to?
Yeah. Do you want to go put the amount of work that goes into that? Because otherwise, you're at the you're at the mercy of the dispensary. So it's either grow your own cannabis or trust what the dispensary is giving to you. Because that's what we're here to offer: is grow advice, help you get some clean control products to use on your cannabis grow. And if you want to take your shit and turn it into some edibles, we're here to get you a recipe too. So phone lines open. We got 2 callers coming in right now. We're going to take a commercial break. We're going to come back with Rudy from Cannabis Catered Events. We got Canna Chef Jen, and we've got Supper Club in the building. No,
Breakfast Club,
Yep.
Supper Club.
We all. It's a
you know,
breakfast club.
Cannabis Supper Club.
All right. DFZRadio.com.
Always got that 425. Man, I got so high I couldn't drive. Couldn't even drive. Look at what I did by 25. 25, nigga. Dizzy OG think I we alive. Cause I always got that 425. You know I got it. I always got that 425. You know I got it, nigga. You know I keep that 425. Blaze one with me then. Dizzy OG think I we alive. Hey. Hey, Dizzy OG all up in my paper. Hey, but is he right about to run for mayor? Whoa. Started my label, now they think I'm giving out favors. Too bad, a couple niggas that I used to fuck with turned into haters. Don't be hitting my line, cause I ain't got the time. I told you once, nigga don't front online. I know what the fuck you want. Seeing through these fools, mad cause I make their girlfriend booty move. With my G ways, I'm just too damn cool. Nigga, what like blue to you? Ayy, looking mad at me. I be smoking, I be mad happy. I don't really worry about these niggas that be making comments, throwing jabs at me. Dad hat feeling dab happy with the 425. Ayy, I love Vegas for the 24/7 side. You can see that I always got that 425. Man, I got so high I couldn't drive. Couldn't even drive. Look at what I did by 25. 25, nigga. Dizzy OG think I we alive. Cause I always got that 425. You know I got it. I always got that 425. You know I got it, nigga. You know I keep that 425. Blaze one with me then. Dizzy OG think I we alive. Hey.
Word around town is heavy down the road. They ain't never lied. All my bitches fly. April 25. Yeah, that's right. Bitch, I feel like Pac. Circa 95. Screaming death to all my haters. We can't let it slide. Bitch, I'm about to ride. Suicide. It's a suicide. Fucking with the squad. Never televised. Pray to stay alive. Play your lane or test your luck against the crew. Bitch, you decide. Foolish pride. Got these bitches out of pocket. I'm just cheaping with the tribe. Let's get high. Bitch, I'm blowing back to back to back. Kobe Shack. I'm too fucking high to see a hoe react. I'm too fucking faded to see you salty. I made it. They hated from the beginning. My pedals still hit the pavement. Oh, looking mad at me. I be smoking, I be mad happy. Yeah, they used to laugh at me. Now promoters throwing cash at me. Money long, now weed is strong. Now bitch, I be living that high life. Blowing that kush be the highlight. Pass me a light, now the vibes right.
Always got that 425. Man, I got a vibe. Man, I got so high I couldn't drive. Couldn't even drive. Look at what I did by 25. 25, nigga. Dizzy OG think I we alive. Cause I always got that 425. You know I got it. I always got that 425. You know I got it, nigga. You know I keep that 425. Blaze one with me then. Dizzy OG think I we alive. Hey.
Launch crew, ready to reservoir.
What's the load factor, sir?
Bringing the Riser Blast liquid at 2 mils per gallon.
Okay, sir. We are loaded and ready to launch.
10, 9.
Okay, men. It's time to blast off into the plant's root zone and into another galaxy of root growth.
Rhizoblast is a proprietary blend of seaweed and the single-celled algae chlorella. Chlorella's abundance of amino acids and minerals contribute to its value in hydroponics. The benefits using Rhizoblast are explosive root growth, use with any growing medium or hydro system. It's ideal use for transplanting and the enhancement of your plant vigor and fast-flowering plants. Let your plants have a blast and see a world of a difference with Rise of Blast from Botanicare. Check it out at www.botanicare.com.
Yo, it's BKJ on Team King, and you listening to DFZ Radio. What?
DFZRadio.com.
All the dab on me, man. All the drip on me and Z Bentley, man. Ain't know what the fuck going on, man. Got all the dab on me. Got all the drip on me. Got all the dab on me. Got all the drip on me. Got all the dab, all the dab. Got all the drip, all the drip. Got all the dab, all the dab. Got all the drip, all the drip.
All right, we're back. Farm to Table Cannabis, DFZ Radio. We got the Chef Super Roundtable right here. And we were just talking about the regulations and how they need to get some standardized testing, just to keep up on the subject. We've got Mike calling. Anyone know where Mike's calling from? Let's find out. Yo, Mike, where are you calling from?
I'm over here in the Central Valley.
All right,
Fresno area.
Fresno area. That's what's up. All right, what store you be shopping at over there?
It's called
Give your local store a shout out. Hands on Hydro. Shout out to Bri out there. All right, right on. Staff's cool as shit out there. All right, so you got some questions about spider mites. What's good?
Yeah, man, I got some clones from that store actually.
Hey, easy with that shit.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. I basically threw out all the plants, all the soil, washed the pot. I just want to know how long they live, like in an environment with no plant matter to feed on.
That's a good question, too, And, hey, Jerome just raised his hand, and we always go to Jerome for technical gardening advice when it comes to arachnids. So go ahead, Spider-Man.
I'll tell you what, any type of insect isn't necessarily not going to search food when it's hungry. People, humans, pets, we can relate on that subject. We don't just stay in one place to just sit there and starve and die. So the thing is whether it's a beneficial insect or a non-beneficial insect in this case, they're going to do the same thing. So if there's not a plant to go ahead and feed off of or some type of viable source where it can actually, basically attack, it's not going to stay there. So what I would recommend doing is in that type of thing is if you want insurance for me, I use different products around the facility, not just necessarily on the garden itself, but around the facility. So in that case, like General Hydro Products makes Exile. I'll use that anywhere from 15 to 30 mils depending on where I'm spraying because I don't really worry about the concentration because what I'm doing is I'm spraying the tables, underneath the tables, the floors. Right. Even when you sweep, mop, dust, it doesn't necessarily excuse the fact that when you went outside the building on lunch and changed, even if you change clothes, change shoes, there's always that possibility to bring something in. Now, if you have beneficial insects, it's not something you want to necessarily spray directly on the plants because it's a contact killer.
Don't kill your buddies.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's something like if you have an infestation, definitely use something that's a contact killer. Typically, a contact killer you want to use every 3 to 4 or 5 days. It's all about breaking the life cycle of these pests. That's the
true integrated
priority.
Pest management is the name of the game.
And once you have it in control, then you use different type of biologicals, beneficial insects, because at that point you have it in control, and they're basically there as an insurance plan.
Now, if you're growing later into and like this is something too, we're gonna hook you up for calling in. He mentioned Exile, but we also have another product called Prevacin, which I probably wouldn't.
You know what my favorite way to describe Prevacin?
I'm gonna give you some Prevacin. That's what you get for winning. And I'm gonna let Jerome tell a great story about it because this stuff really kicks ass. It's from our sponsors over at General Hydroponics, made with chili oil, garlic, and soy.
The capsium right there.
Yeah.
So just think of this as it's a repellent. So what I tell people is when you spray this stuff, for me, a lot of the employees will also use respirators, and I say other employees, just myself and one other person. Either way, we'll spray this stuff with a mask because of the chili oil. It's a little strong for some people, especially if you're spraying in a corner or somewhere that's not as well ventilated. but it's a repellent, and it may smell good to you, but the way this works is to pests. Think of it as blowing up a bathroom and walking in if it's not you.
There's his metaphor. He went there. It's a Chinese food bathroom too. It smells like garlic and Chinese food.
It smells like
soy.
everything but that.
But listen, the thing about this is if you spray this on your plant, no bugs will come on your plant. And if you're like the chefs in the room like us, we don't want to have insects pooping on our plant and then turning that into butter and using it in our food. We want insect-free, completely gone out of our grow. So we'll use the Prevacin as a deterrent so that you never get bugs on your plant, where Jerome uses the Exile to kill on contact. If you want true integrated pest management, you take both of our styles, you put them together, and that's how you prevent anything from ever coming onto your plant. Is you use different products, because your bugs can get immune to using the same product over and over. That's why GH and our other sponsors, they make several different types of integrated pest management products for a true control. So thanks for calling in. We're going to hook you up. Jerome's got the solid knowledge for you.
And the Prevacin works good on ants, by the way.
It works good on everything. Everything. So we're going to go, and we're going to talk about some cooking. Stay tuned, and shoot me your information in the DM, and we will get you your prize mailed out.
Sweet, man. Thank you, guys.
Right on, Mike.
Hey, I'm a big-time fan and listener, so keep up the good work. I'm a chef out here, so.
Right on, man. We appreciate your loyalty, man. Fuck yeah.
Good stuff, guys.
Thanks. Saint, hang this phone up. I don't know how. I'm gonna hang up. I'm gonna hang up on caller too, but please stay on and listening. We're out here, and we're promoting a very special event, you guys. And it's not every Tuesday night you get this many cannabis chefs in the studio talking about the same thing going on. So the Hitman Coffee Shop at 659 South La Brea Avenue, Los Angeles, California, is having the late night bites with the Cannabis Catered Events. Obviously, we got Rudy doing it. He brought us all together, so without him, this wouldn't be going on. And you can check out the link in my bio to get tickets to it. There's tons of opportunities for VIP bags, and you're going to get hooked up with some food, medicated options, and it's just a great place to be on a Saturday night. And, Rudy, dude, tell us how you brought all this together, because you hit me up, and I was like, whoa, I'd jump at an opportunity to do this.
Number one, I like to really to actually give props to Mark over there at Cannabis Supper Club, because everything that I've been doing is really more of a collaboration between me and him. He's like my backbone, man. Anything that I'm doing, I'm constantly calling him and in contact with him with what I do. So everything that I put out is pretty much my idea and his ideas put together. So this bites that we got going on is some things that back and forth that me and him have been, doing. And I just kind of said, well, let's fucking do it. Let's get in contact with somebody, a nice venue. And I really had Hitman in mind, because it's like a hub for the cannabis industry right now. It's really like a really cool spot to go if you want to go smoke during the week. Anytime, just roll in there, and they got everything you need as far as apparatuses goes to smoke. So it's like a really nice, modern, urban spot to go. And then the events they have there are just off the chain, and I wanted to show the capabilities of the chefs that I know as far as pop-up goes. So
and that's the cool thing about the Hitman Coffee Shop. It's a perfect venue for something like this. It brings the best of the culture, along with glass, along with an area to consume on site too.
Exactly.
So maybe I should be asking Mark these questions, because if you're responsible for bringing all this asshole, egotistical, prickhead chefs together, what's it like working with chefs on a day-to-day basis, and how did you get involved in cooking with cannabis? Tell us about your background.
Well, I've been smoking cannabis for like 30 years now. I'm 46 and
lucky.
Yeah. So, but as a chef myself, I've worked in the culinary industry for about 15 years. Worked at a couple of nice places in Laguna Beach, the Montage, Marché Moderne, and Southwest Plaza, and I had 2 kids, got out of the kitchen.
It's always funny how the cooking ends up getting you out of the kitchen.
Like
we all have a super big passion for cooking, but the industry will fuck you in a lot of ways, especially trying to have a family.
It's
so
hard.
That was one of the reasons I got out of it, because I figured a job out of producing food and prepping food and leading to producing food was a lot easier. Right. So and gardening led to a job at a a nutrient company. So hey, you know,
You didn't work at the clubhouse over at South Coast Plaza, did you?
No, I did not work at the clubhouse.
Because Jerome got food poisoning one time, and he said that he's going to go on a long ass story. But Mark,
They had
like,
this like fried macaroni balls that were just the bomb back in the day.
so classically trained, or what's your gig? How did you get into the cooking thing?
I started cooking and then went to culinary school, so I got classically trained.
Funny how it works like that. Huh? Like, oh, hey, this can be a job.
Went into saying I want to do high-end food, I want to do fine dining, worked for fine dining for about 10 years, and realized I didn't want to do fine dining anymore. I just want to eat fine dining food. And actually worked at a country club and did banquets for quite a while.
So unlike me, people gave a shit about your food before you put weed in it.
Yes.
All right. No one cared about my food until I started, dosing them.
And from our and we actually do it a little differently, because at our events now, we're not infusing our food.
Nope.
We infuse with THCA, CBD, but non-psychedelic. We pair with it as like a wine dinner. So we pair with cannabis products, flowers, concentrates.
And then match the flavors.
And match the flavor.
And that's really, I think, a lot more of these events are moving that way, because we have to find, and I hate to use this term, but a loophole to consume, because not everywhere is open to having this kind of shit go on in their restaurant. Everybody would be kind of in that gray area.
Very much so.
But when you do it your way, you're in the very legal area.
We are, and it's still we're working. I'm now working trying to bring in more dispensaries, so now people can go pick up their.
Now, dude,
their
here's something you probably get all the time, but you're an advocate for cooking with cannabis.
Oh, 100%.
But more than that,
right.
you're actually you're fighting for it, and because you've laid the way for a lot of these people to have their cannabis catered events and our Canna chefs and the hydro chefs.
Most definitely, and to me, the reason why I do it the way that we do it is more of a personal thing for myself. I'm not a huge edible person, and I've had those experiences. I'm sure everybody has.
Raise your hands if you eat an edible every week.
Right?
See, I'm not crazy about eating.
Right.
I do like cooking with cannabis, but I don't actually consume it all the time.
Right.
It's funny how that just leads to that too.
And it's we've all had those experiences, and I thought when I was doing this, when I first started the concept, I didn't want to be responsible for dosing somebody that has a different body chemistry.
Totally. And at the end of the night, having one person left over on the couch you can't get rid of, fucker won't leave, he's all hella high.
Right.
The thing is that if you feed 20 people 30 milligrams each, all 20 of those people are not going to have the same experience. And that's the problem. Some people can deal with it, some people can't, and really that's what people are worried about.
Optionally medicated dishes is a great way to go to. I like having sauces on the side, and you can catch some sauces at that event on the 25th.
Right. No, that's a great way to do it.
Now I want to ask Miss Canna Chef Jen, she's over here. She's sipping on her brewski, just waiting her plan of attack. Now, how did you get into cooking with cannabis, and how long have you been doing it?
So as far as cooking with cannabis goes, it's been about 5 years. I actually have rheumatoid arthritis, so I like the benefits of CBD and the non-psychoactive cannabinoids. And
learning about the health benefits of it, I understand.
Yeah,
right?
For sure. And I'm a chef, private chef. I actually have no restaurant experience. And a lot of my clients, personally, they want, whether it's THC or CBD products. And granted, here in California, everybody's healthy. Everybody follows some kind of health regimen.
Vegan CBD, walnut oil,
paleo,
enema,
blah, blah. And when people want to consume it on a daily basis for medicinal purposes, they usually want something healthier. So I actually started my clients and making, whatever it was they needed and wanted, whether it's down to oils for them to use or butters, granolas, cashew butters, you name it.
So you're focusing a lot more on the healthy and a lot more of that niche right there.
Correct.
I dig that.
And the medical, I get the recreational side, and that's fun. And I started doing events and having brunches. What are
some of those events that you've been to?
That I've done personally or I've been to? Both. I mean, I started throwing my own events about 2 years ago.
Oh,
Amazing
that's
brunches.
huge. Yeah, that's huge.
And again, I use my clients, and they like to have, dinner parties with friends. And
So did
they
it
like
turn
to
into like a thing of its own, or was it just you did one person and then the word
one
of mouth?
person, word of mouth, and and started. It grows like wildfire, and 9 out of 10 times you're leaving a dinner party or a brunch and you're walking away with a new client, or someone who wants to buy a gift basket from you, or someone who wants you to do an event because they're opening up a boutique or what have you.
Wow.
Bachelor parties.
Right. So you school of hard knocks this. You didn't go to business school. You didn't go to culinary school. Now,
Nope,
Rudy, culinary
I'm Sicilian.
school?
No.
See, now we've got Rudy over here, so we've got also hard knocked it himself too. So it's funny how I waste. And I talked to a good chef in here one time, and it was Chef Delalio too, and I was like, what would you recommend? He's like, don't fucking go to culinary school. He's like, don't waste your fucking family's hard-earned time and away from you and your own money to not go to this thing that's just going to teach you the fundamentals that you could have learned in the kitchen. Get to cooking. We like to encourage that. Get to cooking, and we want to help you learn to cook and cook with cannabis and dose responsibly. That's one of our big things we talk about here is dosing responsibly. And Jerome, the most responsible doser himself, wants to say something.
Well, no. I've been on a hiatus of smoking meat. And now that we have all these chefs here, how can I infuse cannabis into smoked meats? I've been doing brisket, tri-tip, chicken, bacon, almonds. I've been doing everything I can in the smoker. Corn, you name it. I mean, any tips on trying to do it with the smoker?
Well, I mean, dude, I'm thinking, why don't we just smoke it with cannabis?
That's what I was thinking.
Hey, I'm already ahead of you. I've tried hash, keef, rosin,
and cold smoking
nuts.
it.
I throw it in there with the wood chips.
And smoking it at the end, cold smoking it at the end, and blowing the smoke into it and covering it up with bud.
Really?
Maybe like the stalks or the stems, or dry those out and use those as wood chips.
Holy shit, dude!
See where he's going with this?
Right?
It's next level shit. That's like some true farm to table. Don't waste none of your ingredients.
I mean, that's like
I'm gonna do it this weekend.
Because when I cook with cannabis, I like to try to play with it as ingredient more so as effect, So that's something that
I never thought about.
It just popped into my head. But
big stalks,
right?
They're like 1
Oh,
inch
tell them how big
chips.
your stalks are.
No, but that's why not recycle those too and use them in your
totally
smoker.
So that's
mind blown.
Right? So smoked
Mark,
a nice smoked salmon.
Those are the conversations I have with Cannabis
Make
Supper
some
Club.
pastrami, make some.
So
I did that by accident. I got a corned beef brisket. I had no idea. Oh,
good way to go. Right. Well, if you don't do it on accident, you meant to do it.
I was like, this feels tender, and I read. I look at the package. This has a shit ton of sodium.
So, smoked is a great way to infuse your food with cannabis without actually having to get it psychoactive most of the time, you know. And what are some of the other ways that you can infuse to food with cannabis without using psychoactive properties? I suppose not decarboxylating the cannabis is one way.
Yes, that's or THCA or CBD oils, distillates like that, or the. That's pretty much what we do with that. As we usually what we do when we infuse is pairing the drinks or juices or what have you.
Now, what do you guys think about this whole cannabis cocktails thing too? Now, we're not going to be allowed to pair cannabis with actual alcohol, which is dumb as shit.
A good thing.
That's a good
I've seen that happen.
We split right down the middle on that one. But the thing is some products get taken off the market because they're fruit juice and mango has a tiny little bit of alcohol juice when it sits there and ferments in the bottle, and that product got taken off the market because of trace amount less than what you would find in a bottle of Listerine, guys. And they got
wow.
So back to regulation. This shit's getting out of control, you guys. If you tried to pull that shit on any other industry, people would lose their minds. But that's what we're dealing with now, and on a daily basis we're trying to figure out ways to infuse cocktails even with cannabis. So I found terpenes have been a fun way to get people exposed to the idea of infusing drinks without actually getting them faded. So a lot of great companies out there. Abstracts Labs, shout out to those guys. They've got some great terpenes. And
Abstract.
I'm going to feature some of their guys' infused honey at the Hitman Coffee Shop when we do it on the 25th. So let's take a break, you guys, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about what each and every one of you are cooking this week. And we're going to talk about some of the influence that went into that. Farm to Table Cannabis, dfzradio.com. Let's
7-7 L code, riding down the west coast. Candy paint dripping cause I just got a fresh coat. California raised me, an LA baby. The Chevrolet raisin, scraping on Dayton's, riding down Rosecrans. Get with the program, call me the drone man, the hydros potens. Got your eyes low, lower than the ocean. Just west coasting through the coast with the potion and the best dro to smoke. The baddest bitches, girls in bikinis with ass and titties. The hustle game easy, you just can't believe till you see me on TV. Drive down the wrong street, might see the tech smoke. Hop in the ride and let's go to the west coast. This life is like a movie, you meet a model bitch, then you fuck her like a groovy.
So don't be amazed. Same nigga, same flow, same mind frame. I'm all about the loot sheet. Fuck minimum wage, cruising through these Cali streets, smoking on this OG. Cash rules everything around me, I need more cream. West Coast, get it in. What the fuck you think? Saying I'm riding with you, really though, this money in the bank. E3 hotter than the California forecast. Burning up these tracks, nigga, I need more cash. Yeah, I'm a bona fide hustler. Fuck with my family or cash and I'ma cut ya. Real G's get it, that's only the obvious. Go against us, you know you facing the consequence. I love my state, but I really hate the politics. Better keep stepping, buddy boy, in the pile of shit. Yeah, in a pile of shit. E3, get it in, nigga, I'm live as shit. 3, 2, 1.
As the world keeps spinning, like gold 100 spokes, engine running, Chevy gunning down the coast, just let it roll. Who doesn't love to see a 6-4 hop down the block, banging Easy E and Pac? Motherfuck the cops, I drove in my ride, but I ain't even tripping. It's another summer night and about to get the dipping. It's California A, got some beautiful women. Gotta see it for yourself, it's such a beautiful vision. Palm trees, palm weed, won't you ride with me? West Coast in, floating through these Cali streets, cruising down the boulevard in the late night. Sunset to the daylight, we take flight. Lights, camera, action, fast cars and jewelry, models and groupies, we film in a movie. It's a motion picture, everybody's a celebrity. Won't you take a picture? It's a motion picture, everybody's a celebrity. Won't you take a picture? Latin girls, Asians, black girls, Jamaicans, white girls, they all on vacation. Pop another bottle, yeah, we buy 'em by the case, and we spitting big faces. DFZRadio.com.
Have you ever been interested in gardening with dry fertilizers? Well, you're not the only one, and let me tell you about Vermicrop Organics and their line of organic dry fertilizers. Healthy plants with a simple 4-step process. Step 1. Just measure out a half teaspoon per gallon of soil or 2 cups per 12 square feet of soil surface area. Step 2. Apply evenly to the soil surface. Step 3. Blend into the top layer of soil to avoid caking. Step 4. Water thoroughly. And that's it, simple as that. Great for vegetables, fruits, flowers, potted plants, trees, shrubs, annuals, and perennials. It's Vermicrop Organics VermiVeg 744. Along with the VermiBloom and PK Boost, you will have a complete line of organic nutrients and a garden that will thank you with a great harvest. Looking for an even simpler way? Then check out the Vermiall 666. This game-changing mix is formulated for all stages of growth in the fast-paced garden of champion vegetable and flower growers. And check out the VermiBat Guano Fertilizer and the VermiBlood Blood Meal Fertilizer for feeding oversized, nitrogen-hungry plants. Learn more at vermicrop.com. That's vermicrop.com.
Yo, it's BKJ on Team King, and you listening to DFZ Radio. What?
Hey guys, this is Alice Moon. I'm sending some major love to the hydroponic chef. He did an epic job at the High Times Cook-Off, so go follow him. I'm high now. Sending some love, 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 love.
DFZRadio.com.
It's your boy, the hydroponic chef. I'm back. Farm to Table Cannabis. We got the Hitman Saturday Night Bites round table with Cannabis Catered Events. We've got Canna Chef Jen. We got the Cannabis Supper Club in the building. And yours truly was here hanging out, just giving away a magical butter machine. Let's talk about this event, but first, we're going to take this phone line. This guy's been super patient. What up, Cowboy from Cottonwood? What's good?
Cowboy?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Oh, I can't call it. Just hanging on like a hubcap in the fast lane. How about you?
Same old, same old. Me too. Hey,
let's riff back and forth. Say the most southernest saying you got right now.
What's that?
Say the most southernest saying you got right now.
Yeehaw!
Oh, man. I'm more busier than a one-armed man in a bud-picking contest. Are you now?
I'm not from the South.
Oh, man, Cottonwood just sounded just so southern, and your name's Cowboy. Well, now all right, well, we're going to have to give this machine away to someone else.
Oh, crap.
You got a question for the Farm to Table family?
Yeah, I got a question for Ziggity Jerome. I was talking to him on Instagram about the VPD.
Oh, the vapor pressure. Oh, get in there.
Yeah,
get in there.
Break it down.
Pretty surprised by how high his temperature and his humidity was and how he is able to keep pathogens and
I mean, this could turn into a whole show with Jerome. You could go. This could get deep. We got a cooking demo we're going to get through, and we're going to talk about this cannabis infused cuisine that we're going to be serving up at the coffee shop. But all right, let's let Jerome jump into this. Fuck it. Let's let's open Pandora's box.
What do you got to say, Jerome?
Give me a
VPD.
What do you want to know so much about it? I mean, are you in veg? You have bloom questions?
I'm in bloom right now, but I'm running a perpetual grow, so I was wondering what's kind of the best VPD for a perpetual grow.
When you're doing a perpetual grow, you have to understand from the beginning, you have to find a perfect medium. It's just like a pH to give available nutrients to a plant at a relative state. So it's probably something that you're running into if you're on a drip irrigation trying to feed plants at different stages. Are you? Or are you hand feeding?
No, I'm on a drip feed.
So when you have plants that are in like week 5, 6, and you have plants that are in week 1, 2, 3, how do you accommodate that as far as the nutrients or pK levels that you're giving them?
I adjust my recipe throughout the week or throughout each week.
But you're able to give the same recipe throughout the board, or are you able to separate them in different?
Well, I'm on a vertical rack system, so I have 4 tables in a 10 by 10 area.
Have you been
And so-
battling like pathogen problems in the past?
No, I haven't. I've always kept pretty low humidity, so I've never really had that problem, and I keep a pretty good IPM in my veg, so I've never really had that problem go into flower.
Does your humidity level stay stable?
Yeah, it stays 60 pretty much day and night.
You don't have any fluctuations like a variance of like 5-10%?
Maybe around 3%
That's
from
nothing.
what my app says and everything at nighttime when the lights go off.
If you're at 60%, keep your temperatures, if you're trying to keep it relative throughout the grow cycle, at, I'd say, between 74 peaking at 78. Now, we're talking leaf temperature, not root temperature. You want to get yourself something like that. It's an infrared thermometer, something that people use for like temp guns, for engines, stuff like that. They're relatively inexpensive, but go through your canopy and watch that temperature fluctuate throughout the canopy, and you'll get an average in your head. And basically what you're trying to do is match that to the VPD charts that I'm sure you've seen online as well. But at the same time, because you're in flower, what I would recommend is if you have plants that are finishing their last 2 weeks, I would try to drop the water temperatures at least on those particular plants as much as you can. One thing you could do is mix a batch of, I don't know how many plants you have. Is it a small scale?
About 120 plants in there.
Okay, so I mean, unless you can drop the temps for those particular plants to try and bring out some of the different attributes, some genetics, whether it's frosting the root zone or just acclimating to the climate during, its finishing stages, you'll bring out and intensify certain attributes, whether it's, resin content. For me, you got to understand is frosting the root zone for me is watching the plants being, it's like we get goosebumps. When a plant gets goosebumps, it secretes oil because it's pushing that resin out of its glands. Another thing you could do is it's a defense. It's another thing you could do is bringing in ultraviolet light. Ultraviolet light for a plant to produce its own sunscreen, it produces more resin. Another thing you could do besides that is look at the IPM. There's different products that will create a SAR response, a systemic acquired resistance to the plant, which brings the plant to turn on its own internal defense mechanisms, just like a person has its own immune system. Now, there's products that have a systemic reaction, and there's products out there that have an induced reaction. So there's an induced acquired resistance. So there's products that Marone Bio has that are products like Regalia, which will tell the plant to turn on its defense mechanisms right away, whether it is under attack or not. Depending on, different products like there's harpin proteins, there's different types of things that were part of bringing on the plant SAR response as well. I think people also use salicylic acids as well, something that you could find in different types of things as simple as Bayer.
Hey, whoa, wait, easy, easy.
Hold on, wait a second.
I'm being real with you. You got to understand, a lot of people out there try and tell me, oh, soil shit tastes better, whatever. I'll bring you stuff that wasn't grown in soil that tastes better than your soil stuff, because in all science now, it's NPKs. These are nitrates that the plants are absorbing. They don't care whether it's an organic source or not. Organic usually has to be broken down by different biologicals in the soil so that the plant can not only absorb it, but it can also chelate those nutrients to the plant more effectively.
Make it more available.
When you have synthetic fertilizers, they're just making them more available to the plant. Nitrogen is nitrogen, phosphorus is phosphorus. You can't change that. And what people don't realize is knowing how to apply those and how to get your plant to absorb those at optimal levels is really the trick.
And that's the VPD of it.
So when you get to the VPD and you're in a perpetual harvest, find a perfect medium. It's just like a pH. We can be at 5.5 to 5.8 for hydroponics, but for me in Rockwell, I'll be at 5.8 all day. 5.7 is cool. 5.9, it's okay. You got to understand there is going to be a drift within that block as well, but you have to find a perfect median for your temperature and humidity. So if you're at 60%, I would say go between 74 peaking at 78 leaf temperature. As far as pathogens, make sure you use different products. If you've had problems in the past, try and use something like Procure uses a chlorine dioxide that they use in different types of restoration things for natural disasters, whatever. It kills all types of bacteria. Then you go in there with Exile, something like that, that's also going to smother the powdery mildew. Death Guard is another biological that's an actual bacteria that's found in HydroGuard that's, at a more concentrated
a sponsor
level.
to the show that we're on, which is the Farm to Table Cannabis Show.
That's why
so
when you DM me, there's so much shit
Cowboy.
to say.
I'm giving you for the best question of the evening. I don't even know who's calling in
Give
next.
him a magical butter,
He's
dude.
getting a magical butter machine. Thanks for calling in. Shout out to the boys over there at Magical Butter Machine. Those guys have been super gracious enough to sponsor us with a machine to hook up with you for you. So we'll take that to you, and you go ahead and shoot us your information. Jerome's got it, I'm sure. And thanks for calling in and helping us learn about VPD with Jerome.
Where'd you go?
It's a complicated. Call in tomorrow night to the Heavy Tea Grow show as well. I want to see what Chris has to say about this show.
All right. So thank you for calling in, Cowboy. Peace.
All right. Thank you, guys.
All right, buddy. We'll get your info. All right. So, you guys, Jerome is a gardening specialist. If you guys didn't know, people call in, this fool's going to answer their question. He's not going to give them the knowledge they can understand, but he's going to give them the knowledge that they fucking need.
There's not a simple answer sometimes.
All right. So, you guys, we're here together for this holy matrimony that's going to be taking place at the Hitman Coffee Shop August 25th. Now, Cannabis Supper Club, tell us, man, what can we expect from your table of cuisine for this evening affair?
So I'm not actually going to be cooking this evening. At that evening, I do have some. We have the executive chef of our company is putting together a nice menu. We're doing I believe.
Just because he's not cooking doesn't mean there won't be food at his table.
There's going to be plenty of food at the table.
Rest assured.
We're doing
feed the people.
A grilled peach and frisee salad with a pancetta and a peach vinaigrette with that. And then we're going to have, I believe, which can change. It's happened before, but right now we're looking at a Korean shrimp and grits dish.
Does pancetta mean like fancy chopped bacon?
Easy. Don't you disrespect my family like that. I love that. I mean, we're like we're like a family. No, pancetta is not just a fancy way of saying bacon. It's a cured process. It's got Italian spices and nutmeg, and most of it's aged over 100 days if you really want to do it right. But hell, I'll suffer. I'll be happy for that 30-day age stuff, honestly. But
Express.
So pancetta is pancetta. I love it, and I'm looking forward to that.
So yeah, I usually do have another chef that comes in and cooks and moderate the event for me.
Dude, you're above that now. You're a networker.
He's
out of the kitchen now.
I do know my limits as well, and we work with some wonderful chefs, and just trying to. My job there is really just to try to create the community and make
set
sure
an atmosphere,
the atmosphere.
Now,
education and stuff like that.
Now, optional medicated sauces, or
we haven't gone there yet. But it's always, we've been talking about it. And
how long till we see a Cannabis Supper Club item, like an
infused product? An infused product. We're working on some infused products right now. We're working on some olive oils and some sauces.
That's exciting.
It's a lot of fun.
All right. Get more people involved with cooking with cannabis.
Yes.
Now, Canna Chef Jen, you're up. What's on the menu? What are we serving? What's influencing you?
So, my personal flavor and go-to is savory. Salt is the best flavor ever. I'm gonna go with a smoked butter, yes. Everything with butter, right? I'm gonna do a smoked beef rib with brioche with a horseradish cream sauce with fresh chives, and I'm going to pair that with a smoked elote, and I'm gonna do this sprinkle of smoked chicharrones on top.
How smoked are we? Are we getting smoked or what?
Mind blown with the chicharrones.
We're at Hitman, right?
Woo! I dig the theme that you're going.
Are you going weed smoke?
So,
I might take your tips, actually.
I like the stock and the stems, dude.
Hey.
Yeah, I don't even know what the fuck to do with those a lot of times.
So the cool...
No, that's...
I'm gonna bag them and sell them.
So the cool thing about this event at the Hitman Coffee Shop on the 25th is you get to see all of us chefs showcasing some of our favorite dishes, dishes that we feel are a good representation of us. And this is this comes from your influence, and this food's going to come from your chef's influence. Right. And now, Rude, my dude, Cannabis Catered Events, you're going to be in the building. What's going to be influencing your food, and what do you have on the menu?
Well, my main dish is going to be my second place dish at the Canna Chef showdown that we did in Escondido, which is my 3 fused dish of the Vietnamese cold vermicelli noodles. And I'm going to go with that tom yum sauce and make it right this time. Perfect. And then I'm going to braise some of that pork belly that I made.
Oh, I love that pork belly.
Yeah.
Everyone loved that flavor.
So then I'm also just going to do some
That
Filipino.
tocino? What do you call that?
It's called beefsteak, but I did it with pork.
Wow.
See, there's ways you're supposed to cook things, and then I just cook it a whole different way.
The flavors are so crazy. It's like East meets West.
Exactly.
Everything comes together with the sweet and the savory. I dig that. Respect, man.
I'm stuck on tom yum still.
Tell them what the tom yum is.
Hey, the tom yum is killer. I'm going to tell you right now, because the tom yum is a soup, and I turn it into a sauce that I pour over the noodles, and when you put the braised pork on top of that, and it just ties all the flavors together with the scallions, and I put some Thai chilies on there. Man, it's just amazing, bro. It's the sweetness, the sourness, and then the spice. And then I'm going to throw in some of the lumpia, which is Filipino egg rolls, and everyone's going to go crazy with that because I'm going to have an infused sauce and a regular sauce on the side. So I'm not going to infuse none of the food. None of the food, it will be infused actually at Bites. It's all about a foodie event, but with cannabis pairing. There's going to be a cannabis element paired with each station. So you're going to have like a CBD remedium from my boy Young Jen. He's going to be paired with one of the stations.
What up, Young Jen?
I'm going to have the wax pervert concentrate. His wax is some of the best that I've tasted, and I really, just from some homegrown stuff. They got some of the things they make in the labs that are crazy. But this guy, he just works in his garage and he puts out some product out there.
Allegedly.
and now, yes, and none of the food is going to be actually infused. You're going to be tasting our food. There will be optional. Cannabis consumption there. I'll have a sauce on the side that you can be able to add to it with my dish, which will be the arancini de riso, which is an Italian-style rice dish rolled up into balls and fried. And I've also got some crostini made with polenta, which is an Italian-style cornmeal, almost like grits. And it's going to be turned into a crostini and topped with some bruschetta-style tomato basil and some burrata, which is Italian-style mozzarella. So we're going to be pulling some international cuisine together at that event, you guys. I dig where this is going. It's going to be fun because it's not a competition like we're all used to. We're always used to having to compete with chefs. It's more like hey, look what we can all do when we pull these minds together and show off at a place like the wonderful Hitman Coffee Shop. So August 25th on La Brea. The links are in the bio. You can buy tickets at the Hitman Coffee Shop in the links or in the link in my bio. And get hooked up, have some good food with some good people, and learn about cannabis.
Listen up.
Cannabis Catered Events, Cannabis Supper Club, and Canna Chef Jen.
And you can walk in at the door and pay there too if you'd like.
Don't be shy. Show up. It's gonna get busy, but at the same time, we're gonna have food, and there's all of us, and good vibes. So we got to take one more break. I'm gonna come back with the cooking demo. We've got some great pizza that's been infused with some of our friends CB Daily Eats cannabis infused olive oil, and you're gonna have to stick around for the cooking demo. You can win a magical butter machine just for commenting on the video and calling in. We got one more caller to go through, and we'll do a sign off with each one of the chefs.
You said a second magical butter?
Farm to Table Cannabis, magical butter machine. Farm to Table Cannabis, DFZRadio.com.
6 a.m. in the morning, I'm breaking out the bag of weed. I break it up, then I'm rolling. Fuck it, I'm jonesing. Waking, baking, I'm stoning. There's a girl in the bed rolling. Fuck it, I'm boning. Okay. Lighting trees up till smoking. I'm puffing on the best, you just smoking some shit, that's just okay. Okay, yeah. You go smoke that hay, I'm alright. I'ma smoke that high grade every day. I know still high grade when me smoking. Them must see things say a joke thing when me alla. I know still high grade when me smoking. Them must see things say a joke thing when me alla. Me Allah, give me that good. Call the wrist, call it the fucking butterfugo. Jabba bass on the bass, straight from Cali FedEx. I'm like, hold up, what's next? I'm smoking so much I got a motherfucking pain in my chest. Yeah. Going bananas, I roll a couple, split them motherfuckers look like bananas. Yeah, Cooper Cup, bananas, I'm trees, ocean, savannas. I'm living life, plus a couple bricks that shot for me, nanas. I'm talking about high grade. When me smoking, they must see things, say a joke thing. When me all a burn me ganja vibe, burn me ganja vibe, burn me ganja vibe, burn me ganja vibe. High grade, when me smoking, they must see things, say a joke thing. When me all a
DFCRadio.com.
Hi, and welcome to Non-Specific Hydro.
Yeah, hey, I have a buddy of mine that was telling me about a great additive.
Okay, do you remember the name?
Yeah, his name's Steve. He's a good buddy.
No, the product.
No, he told me it was a super concentrated organic enhancer. Comes in a yellow bottle.
Well, it sounds like he's talking about Floralicious Plus from General Hydroponics.
I don't think that was the name, but he also told me it was a vegan bioplant stimulator that contained vitamins, plant sugars, amino acids, seaweed extract.
Yeah, that would be General Hydroponics Floralicious Plus.
I don't think that's it, man. He told me it was something like Dora Vicious Flush or something, and he said it was like an organic supplement that could also be used in vegging or flowering, and that was compatible with hydro soil and cocoa.
Yes, that would be General Hydroponics Floralicious Plus.
Oh, hey, man. I just remembered what it's called. It's Floralicious Plus.
Oh, good. I was drawing a blank.
Floralicious Plus from General Hydroponics. Ask for it by name.
DFCRadio.com.
Farm to Table Cannabis, the hydroponic chef's going to bring you another cannabis-infused meal. This week on the menu, we've got a cannabis-infused pizza that we're going to do a French take on an Italian classic. We got some CB Daily Eats cannabis-infused olive oil, some French camembert cheese, and some fresh vegetables and herbs from the garden. We've got some leeks and some sage, some pancetta and some store-bought apples, and some pizza dough. We're going to take all these flavors, pull them together for a French pizza, hydroponic chef approved. On our pizza prep for this cannabis-infused pizza pie, we've got some store-bought pizza dough. We're going to just put a little flour on the board, and we're going to let this rise for about 30 minutes. While this is rising, we're going to get started on our vegetable prep, and we're going to talk about some hydroponic gardening and some of the nutrients we use while growing. For this pizza, we've got some vegetables, some ingredients that we're going to chop up. We've got some leeks. These have a great herbaceous flavor. You just take off the bottoms, and you really only want to get a thin 1/4 inch below the greens. Everything else is probably a little bit too bitter. So we're gonna cut up about a 1/4 cup of these. And then we're gonna get chopping up some beautiful sage. Now this sage and cannabis is such a good pairing of flavors. Sage, it's got that herbaceousness along with that woody scent. And we're just gonna chop this real roughly. And these herbs were grown in our garden using biomarine sea squid. And the sea squid has got one of the highest plant building proteins out of any animal in the sea kingdom. So you could grind up a shark, you could grind up a turtle, you could grind up the Loch Ness Monster and not get as many amino acid building proteins that are available in the Humboldt squid. So we use that when growing our herbs, high in nitrogen, good amino acids, great to use. And we're also gonna cut up some of these Granny Smith apples. They got that nice tartness. It's gonna go nice with that creamy cheese and that savory pancetta. So let's get some of this apple, and we're just gonna slice it up into little half rounds. And we're gonna place that on the pizza and drizzle some of that beautiful CB Daily Eats cannabis infused olive oil on there. And that's gonna really pull this dish together and bring out some of those medical qualities that you get out of that olive oil. So finish cutting up some of these apples, nice and thin. Thin it to win it. Then we're gonna take that pizza dough, we're gonna press it out, and we're gonna fire up the stovetop and get that pancetta, rendering out some of that fat and get that ready to top on the pizza. Preheated to 475, it's better to cook that pizza at a high temperature. For the stovetop, we're gonna set it at medium-high heat. We're gonna get 2 tablespoons of the CB Daily Eats cannabis-infused olive oil, and we're also gonna throw in our pancetta. Now we're gonna let this get going. We're gonna render some of that fat out just until it's almost finished, then we'll pull it off the stovetop and we'll pull all our flavors and toppings and put them on top of the pizza. Our fat rendering out of the pancetta, this is gonna give us enough time to start our pizza dough. We're gonna spin that out classic style and we're gonna put it in the oven at 475, top it with our beautiful farm fresh ingredients for a cannabis infused CBD treat. Pizza dough balled up, we're gonna put a little flour down, and now using the ball of your hand, you're gonna press out the edges and spin your hand just until you get this lump in the middle. Now you see this lump, this is where you're gonna press down, you're gonna pick it up in your hand, you're gonna give it a toss back and forth, stretching it just a little bit, holding it by the edge, and now you can give it a spin. Give it a little more stretch so you don't get an oval pizza, and then there you go. Perfectly round every time. And we're gonna sprinkle just a drizzle on the entire crust. This is gonna help bring out some of that color, and it's also gonna bring out some of those medical qualities, which is why you watch this show. Hydroponic Chef approved. Now we're gonna take some of that cannabis infused olive oil, give it a drizzle, and the important part is you wanna get the edges because that's gonna help darken up the outside. Get those browned up nicely. Now let's start topping these pizza pies. The pancetta's done, we can smell that flavor. We've got these camembert French cheese, the sage, the apples, and the leeks. Let's pull all these flavors together with the CB Daily Eats for a cannabis infused pizza. Every other pizza, you start with the cheese. We're gonna get some of this beautiful camembert on there. From here, we're gonna put on our leeks, and the leeks are gonna have that savory flavor. Sprinkle some of these leeks on there, and then some of the pancetta. And don't forget that beautiful apple. It's gonna be tangy, cheesy, herby, and then we'll top it off with some sage right before it comes out of the oven. Let's finish up this other one. Cheese. Got the camembert. We're gonna strategically line that around the outside of the cheese. That's all gonna melt in. And then next, we're gonna add the leeks. And that's gonna get a nice flavor with the herbaceousness. It's gonna go really nice with these apples. We'll get those apples strategically laid on there. Then we're gonna top this off with some pancetta and a little bit more sage. Tiny bit. Pizzas are gonna cook really quick. After the pizza comes out of the oven, we're gonna put a little bit of balsamic vinegar, drizzle over the top. That'll bring all those sweet and savory herbaceous flavors together. Let's put these pizzas in the oven. One a pizza pie, two a pizza pie. 12 minutes or until they're bubbly and golden brown. You know when a pizza's done. Let's finish this up. Pull these flavors together. Cannabis infused pizza, farm to table cannabis. For about 15 minutes. The edges are nice and golden brown. Let's pull that out. We're gonna transfer that to our cutting board. And let's give it some slices. Nice, manageable slices. Then your very own magical butter machine. Comment on this week's recipe section, which is our French style pizza with the camembert cheese and the CB Daily Eats cannabis infused olive oil. Comment, tell me what would you cook with your own magic butter machine, and you can win just for watching Farm to Table Cannabis on dfzradio.com. Farm to Table Cannabis. We're back with the hydroponic chef and the rest of the crew from the Hitman Coffee Shop Saturday Night Bites. Canna Chef Round Table here. We got Cannabis Supper Club, Canna Chef Jen, and Cannabis Catered Events, Rudy in the building. So let's go to the phone line. This guy's been waiting so patiently, man. This has been a 30-minute wait here on line 3. What's good, line 3? You've been calling, you've been hanging out. What's up, chef?
How's it going?
Very well. Where are you calling from?
Myself, man, I called earlier about those mites, brother, but I had another question for Jerome about powder nutrients.
This is the same guy that called in earlier?
Yeah.
This is Cowboy?
No.
Oh,
First
okay.
guy.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah,
Mike. This is Mike.
Hands-on hydro, yeah.
All right, cool. Go ahead, Mike. I'm sorry, brother.
I'm using the Canna Care, the veg powder nutrients. It's like an amendment you mix into
The Growilla. Jinx. Jerome can't talk for the rest of the show. Cut his mic. Go ahead, Mike.
But I was wondering about the powder nutrients and liquid nutrients. Is there such a big difference in those?
Yeah, there's depending on what brand you go with, a lot of the powdered nutrients out there that are the craze right now seem to be like the synthetic versions. But I like the powdered versions of organic nutrients because that's really where the
to the microphone,
the ability for you to get organic comes in. So good products like Vermicrop Organics, that's a CDFA certified powdered ingredient where you can just work it right into the topsoil and you can be certified organic in the state of California. And some of the other good ones out there is the Maxi series from General Hydroponics. And I know Jerome can mention some other ones, but I won't say their names. Who else do you like that's dry powder?
Botanicare right now.
Well, yeah, no, he's asking
right.
about the Botanicare. So between the liquid and the powder, you got to understand, if you're doing an organic grow, and organic means you're doing everything. You're not doing everything but one thing. You got to do it all. So the whole purpose to that is putting different biologicals in there. Think of them as like an army that's going to work for you. It's going to chelate nutrients to the plant, but it's also going to be a defense mechanism for pests, pathogens, different things that can happen in a natural environment. So you got to understand is trying to achieve the most beneficial, environment is trying to ideally perfect nature, and it's not always going to happen, but now you're in full control. So you got to understand whether it's the powder or it's the liquid, you have to do something that's going to encourage those to be uptaken by the plant. They're not going to be fully available typically to the plant in an organic environment.
What's the difference in soil? So I use cocoa. Does that make a difference if I were to go to like a...
Not at all. You have full control of your nutrients. So now when you're mixing your nutrients now, you got to understand is you have a way to effectively do a slurry test or a runoff test, see what's inside the medium, but it's not like a soil where it has different nitrates that are going to slowly break down or be broken down and available to the plant.
And with the cocoa, he's going to want to amend with some microbials if he's using the
Exactly.
Growilla.
Well,
it's going to
either
help
way
break.
you want to. And as far as the soil, the vermifier, I used to work at a Green Coast Hydroponics years ago.
Shout out to Green Coast Hydroponics and their 13 locations located all over the West Coast.
OG over here. So you got to understand, there's a picture at the Long Beach store that was taken by me in like 2013. I took a bunch of snow peas and literally planted them into a bag of Fox Farm and planted them into a bag of vermifier. And you could see the results speak for themselves. I posted it on my page
Go ahead, tell them who fucking won.
No, it was hands down. You don't even have to look. The vermifier kicked the shit out of it.
Vermifier handle.
Boom. And you got to understand,
Mike, thank you for calling in, bro. You've always got good questions.
Hey,
I'm surprised he was able to double dip us.
You want to
Keep
know
on
why?
going. Yeah, tell me.
Well, it's amended with mycorrhizae, and if you're trying to have an organic environment, that's one of the best cultures you could put in there that's going to help do amazing things, not only chelate nutrients, but it's great just for the root zone as far as pathogens as well.
And boom, and that's why we're going to hook you up with some HydroGuard, which has got the amyoliquefascians, which is the bacteria. We're going to give you that just for calling in. We got to take another caller because they've only called in once, and I will take your information. You go ahead and send me your mailing address, and you won 2 prizes this one because you got by the screener.
Thanks
I'm looking at you,
HydroGuard.
Saint. All right.
That wasn't the intention. I just had the questions.
Dude, I'm not giving you a hard time. I'm giving my screener a hard time. You're awesome. Keep listening, and we're gonna send you 2 prizes. If you get in next week, we'll give you 3.
Hey, cannabis infusing
Keep this guy on
with
his
your
toes,
food
Mike.
is not going to be as good without all this information. If you can't grow quality cannabis, you're not going to have that translate to the food.
That's it. Thank you, Jerome. We wouldn't be able to do this without you. I don't know how we could buy.
You guys are putting out there, man. They sound fire. I wish I was in the LA area to go check that show out, man.
We need you to come to the LA area so you can stop by the studio and burn it down with us and eat some of these edibles one of these days too.
The fattest fucking joint you ever had.
Hell yeah.
Wish I could, man. I'm too far away, man. But next time I get out there, I'll definitely have to stop by, dude.
Thanks for calling in and representing the Central Valley. Who do we got next on here? Alfonso. What's good, Fonzo? We calling out of Lancaster.
What's good?
How you living,
Hey,
man?
I want to say hi to Jiggy Jerome.
Jiggity Jerome, lighting up the phone boards, dude.
Be looking out and giving me that piece of butter he gave me at the show.
Oh, dude, how'd you like that, by the way?
Man, that was fire. We got to get together so you can teach me how to grow like that.
Oh, dude. Hey, I gave him some of my personal stash. So, actually, I got a good story. Tomorrow night, we got the Vault Seed Bank on the show with Heavy T. And
Gotta be listening to Heavy T show. If you're not listening to the Heavy T, you're missing
J-Rock
out.
is a long-time fucking homie. And I remember going up to the booth with Unc Emo, and he's like, hey, Jerome, roll up a wood. And I'm like looking at Unc. He only smokes joints. I'm like, fuck. I got to roll this blunt right in front of him. And it's just like disrespect. But whatever. I smoke them, obviously. But I rolled that shit up, and it was a great compliment because I heard his lady. He's like, ooh, baby, this tastes so good. What is it? And he's like, I agree with that.
That's all right.
No, it was a great compliment. That's what you got, by the way. That's coming from the people that just won the fucking Dabathon Cup giving props. So you know you smoking that bomb.
So what's your question today, though, Alfonso?
Yeah, my question I want to know how you infuse coffee.
All right, great, Jerome. If it's okay with you, can I take this one?
Go ahead, man.
All right.
You're the chef, dog.
So you can infuse coffee several different ways. Granular into your coffee is probably not the most way. You're going to probably want to infuse it with another, either a cream and steep your coffee. You can steep your coffee and do a cold brew. You can also steep it, some cannabis into some cream and do it like that. Distillate's a great way to do it if you're trying to make yourself a coffee flavored edible product for the market.
Just dump it in there.
I'm gonna put that THC tincture or something in there.
Some THC tincture. That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
And hell, while we're at it, let's just throw some Irish whiskey in our coffee too. So that way we can get up, get down, and get even all at the same time.
Just a little bit while I'm at work or something. You know what I mean?
That's it. He said just a little bit while I'm driving the school bus. Oh man, Alfonso, you are sick. You are awesome. So I want to give a shout out to a couple of our favorite coffee infused brands right now. Ganja Grinds. Those guys are probably making one of the best known coffees out there. And then we've also got some other of those caffeine infused products with our friends over at the High Dining Club. They do some of those awesome steeped teas.
I just had one from Hakuna Supply. Just shout out to them. I had it forever. He gave it to me. I was sad I didn't open it sooner because I figured out how to put it into the pod for the coffee.
Yeah, it's like the Keurig, right?
Oh, dude, it was fucking great.
One of our sponsors, Plant Organic Wellness, makes a CBD coffee, and it's amazing. It's iced coffee. So they'll be there at Bites at Hitman on the 25th from 6 to 10 p.m. Make sure you guys drop by.
I'm excited that we're talking about coffee. If somebody can invent a nitro cold brew with some like THC, CBD, I'm down.
That's where it's at. So, Fonzo, man, thank you for calling in, and we're gonna hook you up with the magical butter machine so you can make your own infused coffee at home, man.
A second one.
That's 2 in 1. That's 2 in 1 night, brother. That's double dipping. We're hooking it up, Jerome, for hooking up all the good phone calls. So thanks for
Hey,
asking
you know what's
the gardening
funny?
advice.
When I saw him at the Dabathon Cup, I'm in the bathroom and I'm going to wash my hands. He's all jiggity Jerome, and I didn't even dry my hands. Oh no!
You guys shake hands in the bathroom.
Hey,
that's so fucking awkward, fool.
This fool.
There's this bathroom in Minnesota. You guys know the one. Oh, never mind. So, thank you for calling in, Alfonso. We're gonna get back to the cooking with cannabis thing. Will you shoot Jerome your address so we can make sure you get the prize?
Yeah, I will on the DM somewhere. I will hook up.
Hell yeah, man! Thanks for watching Farm to Table Cannabis on DFZRadio.com.
Right on. Thank you.
So we're rounding out the end of the show. We got the cooking demo done. We got our product of the week, which is the BioMarine. We'd like to thank our sponsors at General Hydroponics, the BioMarine cold processed sea squid. It's got the highest plant-building protein out of any animal in the sea kingdom. You could grind up a shark, you can grind up a Jerome, you can grind up a whale, the Loch Ness motherfucking monster. Nothing will give you amino acid that's available in the biomarine. So thank you, and use that in all stages of bloom. Thank you to our sponsors and you guys. So what's going down this Saturday, dude? We'll go ahead and let you take it away for us, Canna Chef Jen.
All right. Well, this Saturday we have the Bites event, which is sponsored by Remedium. It's also by Cannabis Catered Events. It's going to feature Rudy himself and myself, Canna Chef Jen. And then we have Chef Rocco, part of Cannabis Supper Club. And then we have Devin, the hydroponic chef.
Yours truly.
Yeah, so Remedium is the big sponsor, as well as I'd like to throw out Happy Thoughts & Co. I'm actually going to give away 10 of these pen cases. They're gold. And Happy Thoughts & Co. is awesome. It is a gold, really pretty case, whatever.
Easy to use.
Yeah.
I want to go.
Easy to medicate. Stay medicated.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'm trying to feed you and smoke you.
There we go.
Right
We're gonna
in
get
theme with my food.
we're gonna get split, you guys.
I actually said when I die, I want people to cremate me and put my ashes in the ground, grow some weed with me. So
yeah, don't smoke me. Yeah, definitely. I got way
smoke
too.
me like some how
I got
high
way
shit.
too many PGRs.
I'll tell
in
you
me.
everything for life. You smoke that shit after.
So other sponsors are Plant Organic Wellness, Wax Pervert Wax, Coleslaw Music, and we also have DJ Joseph Savage. And it's this Saturday, 6 to 10 p.m. at Hitman Coffee Shop, and that is at 659 South La Brea Ave in L.A. in California.
All
here.
right, you guys. And one more time, tell the people what they're gonna experience at your table.
Really awesome food. The theme is smoked.
Happy thoughts.
Yeah, happy thoughts.
Happy thoughts, smoked food,
and pervert wax.
And pervert
wax pervert.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Every medium.
Is that you? Are you the wax pervert?
And then Rudy, tell everybody what they can experience at your table, Chef Extraordinaire, Cannabis Catered Events.
Well, actually, it's funny. Someone mentioned the wax pervert. He's actually going to be paired with my cuisine.
He didn't make happy thoughts, did he?
And then I also wanted to shout out Made CBD. They're going to be a topical sponsor, and Joe Savage is going to DJ along with Abdullah from Bon Appetit.
Abdullah's going to be in the building.
Hey, we got Coleslaw Music. We're going to have a live band going on. It's going to be a great time. This is going to be one of the best events at Hitman. I said it. You guys come out. Support us, come see what we got going on, and we got a whole lot of events coming up too. Just check out our
What
Instagrams.
day is it again?
It's Saturday, August 25th from 6 to 10 p.m.
This Saturday.
This Saturday.
This Saturday.
Yes.
Yeah, fucking stoners out there. This Saturday.
This coming
East Coast,
Saturday.
West Coast, same time. This Saturday.
So this is your boy, the hydroponic chef, telling you, come out this 25th of August to South La Brea Ave in Los Angeles, California, to experience Saturday Night Bites. And yours truly, the hydroponic chef's going to be there, and Cannabis Supper Club. Let's talk about what Chef Rocco's going to be doing.
Yeah, so what we got going on is we got those two dishes, like I said, the shrimp and grits and the peach salad. We also have a special guest. My boy Darren's putting together some pairings of some really high-quality sauces there to
Like
dab
smoking
along,
like
the dabbing sauces. So we'll actually have our food paired with a couple of different flavors for you guys to come on down and kind of experience what you get at the Cannabis Supper Club as well.
That's it. So this is the one place where it brings all these chefs together at the same place, at the great place to smoke and consume on site. And just come down, learn about cannabis, learn about food, and experience everything that the cannabis, the Hitman Coffee Shop sets up for you. So this is the Hydroponic Chef on DFZ Radio. You guys want to say goodbye to anyone or shout out to anyone before we get off the air?
I want to shout out to my brother who just passed away, Mike. I love you. I know you're watching down on me. I'm going to fucking shine and blow this shit out the water, brother.
And go click on the link in the bio to support the GoFundMe out there. So shout out to everyone, and hold your family close. And thanks to everyone that supports our show. Mark, go ahead if you guys.
I was just going to say much love to you, Rudy, and come out and support the event, everybody. Check us out, dude. It's going to be a great time. Great music, great food. What else do you want? Great smoke.
Hey, they got great pieces over there at Hitman on display too. So if you're
Beautiful
a heady
art.
person, great art. It's a good atmosphere. I've been there myself. I saw Styles P over on Halloween. That was pretty dope.
And Chef Jen, you want to say thank you to anyone or shout out?
shout out to you guys. Thank you for including me, Rudy. Thank you for going through with this event, especially during this hard time.
Young Jen from Remedium spoke very highly of you, and I really trust his opinion.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. So this is what we do every week.
pleasure.
We bring you edible reviews. We bring you the top cannabis products in the industry, gardening advice, and all around good vibes. So Hydroponic Chef, Farm to Table Cannabis, thanks to the guests. I'm honored to have you guys on. We out.
Hydro make me feel fine, roll up that hydro make me feel fine, cook up that hydro make me feel high, feeling so high. Chefs in the kitchen and he chopping up hydro. The hydro chefs in the building and he rolling up hydro. Hydro's in the kitchen and he cooking it up. Hydro, let's go. Hydro's in the studio, chop it up, up that hydro make me feel fine. Roll up that hydro make me feel fine. Cook up that hydro make me feel high, feeling so high. Roll up, cook up hydro. Roll up, cook up hydro. Roll up, cook up hydro. Let's go.